Let's get it out the way early. Wolfenstein 3D is a difficult game to come back and experience if you didn't grow up alongside it. I personally did not play Wolfenstein 3D until many years after its release, and I just didn't like it. Having played Doom to death since 1994, it just felt limited to me. It's got very sharp difficulty spikes, the controls are not catered to modern sensibilities, and the levels themselves get very samey very quickly. But at its core, it's still a fun shooter which at times can be engaging and fun to dive into, even if only briefly. Playing Wolfenstein 3D after decades of playing the games that were directly inspired by it feels a little unfair, but there's no questioning its importance to gaming as a medium. But perhaps the biggest issue for me, levels quickly begin blending into each other. Rooms become giant blurs as the limited use of textures and 90-degree angles begin to overshadow the gameplay and hurts the overall experience. The levels are very clearly designed to be maze-like, and the Pac-Man inspiration is clear to see. Unfortunately, the approach to level design means you'll be seeing a lot of rooms which look the same as each other. Getting lost is part of the Wolfenstein 3D experience, for better or worse, and it makes things very frustrating at times. Backtracking becomes commonplace, and key hunting in some of the later levels feels like an absolute chore. Sometimes they'll be placed obnoxiously close to the door they're intended to open. Other times the key will be across the level, hidden in an alcove that's incredibly easy to miss, and this leads to you spending 20 minutes checking every single space just to find it. And then there are times when the game will just hide keys within hidden spaces, forcing you to go secret hunting. It's one of the biggest sins in any first-person shooter in my opinion. It also doesn't help that key doors are very rarely marked with the key that you'll need. There will be times when you find a key, take it to a door that you think will unlock, only to be met with nothing but frustration and more key hunting. If the doors were consistently marked, this might not be an issue, but sadly this is not the case. All of this wouldn't be an issue if the levels themselves were actually interesting to explore, but they really aren't. Many levels lack originality or unique aspects, regularly feeling maze-like and labyrinthy. A lot of the later levels genuinely feel like marathon expeditions and just are not fun to explore. Adding in small touches like tables and beds and objects to populate the castles is a nice attempt to fill the space, but every room begins to feel like a box with very little variety. Seeing hanging skeletons and piles of bones does tell a story of what's going on in the world. The blood and other bodily fluids smeared across the wall